Great to have you here today. In this video, I want to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions out there with getting lag, and that's getting too narrow in the downswing. And a lot of times what happens is that as we start this downswing, we want to create this sharp angle of lag. We see this angle between the forearm and the club, and we really try to make this as tight or narrow as possible. The reason you call this narrow is because in the backswing, you'll notice how wide my club head is away from my body. If I was to draw a line like a brick wall on the outside of my club head, kind of straight up and down, if I do that on the backswing, you're going to see on the downswing, because I increased the angle of lag, my club is coming down closer to my body than it did going back. So I was wide going back, and then I narrowed that up on the downswing. Now the problem with this, or one of the things that I see people confuse all the time with this, that causes big time problems, is that when they try to narrow that up, they bend the arms. So as I start down, my arms really bend. My arms get really close to my body here to try to narrow this up, and it really causes two issues for me. Number one, the wider I swing my arms, you can imagine my arms making a circle or an arc here. The wider I move my arms back, and the wider I move those through, the more club head speed the club is going to get. So if I make a little compact short swing like this, I can only move the club so fast. If I have this club moving on a wider arc with my arms, it has a bigger amount of space for my hands to put force into the club and a bigger amount of speed. So it's kind of contradictory. How does that make any sense? How do we get narrow and be wide at the same time? This kind of almost sounds silly. Well, the issue is we let our wrist bend, or our wrist hinge. So my arms are staying wide in the backswing. My right arm is going to bend in the downswing, but I don't want to let my left arm bend too much in the downswing. I want my left arm to be out away from my body. So my arms are staying wide, but my wrists are allowing the club to get lag and then release that lag as I'm coming on through. The second part of this is if I'm looking from down the line, that angle is going to look even sharper because I'm narrowing up this club and I'm letting it shallow out like we talk about in the move of the top speed golf system. So sounds like a lot of info, but it actually can be boiled down into a very, very simple couple drills here. I want you to go ahead and set up to the golf ball and do a couple things for me. Number one, feel like the arms are swinging wide on the way back and they're staying wide on the way through. I almost want you to feel like you're pushing the grip of the club out away as you're creating that lag in the downswing and coming through to the finish. Do about 10 swings of that for me. So I'm wide on the way back. My arms, again, are wide on the way down as I'm coming all the way on through. So 10 swings, nice and easy practice swings. That's the focus. Arms wide on the way back, arms wide on the way down. Number two, I want you to focus on the setting of the club in the downswing. So 10 swings again, that club's going to go wide going back, but in the downswing, I'm going to let the angle of that club sharpen up here. So that angle feels like it's increasing, or this is getting sharper and sharper as I'm starting my downswing, then I'm letting it go. So 10 practice swings, increasing that angle. There we go. Now I really feel like I'm adding the speed to that to get the feel of letting your wrist set without pulling your arms into your body. Now when you do those two together, you get the best of both worlds. You get the speed from wide arms and a faster path of your hands, and you get the angular speed of getting lag with the club and then letting that release. Once you've done 10 swings of both of those, you'll feel really comfortable with that, or at least a little bit more comfortable with that. You'll be ready to take it to the range and give it a good rip. Now that we have these wide arms, a lot of lag in the downswing, we have potential to get a lot of speed, but we still have a problem. What do we do with this speed? If we just create all this lag and then drag it through impact, we never release this lag and get that snap of speed, that whip of acceleration through contact, nothing's happening. We're not actually gaining the club head speed from this. So the next key for this is to get to what I call the straight line release. We have the lag, now we got to get that club to turn back up and in, really accelerate the club through contact. I have an awesome video that's going to go over this for you. The preview that's going to play here in a second, just click the card on the top of the screen or click the link down below in the description and you'll get instant access to that video. I'll see you in the straight line release. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, a common misconception I see is that we want to create lag and we just want to hold that lag all the way on through contact and get as much lag as we can coming through contact, and that's simply not true. In the release section, we're going to talk about how to turn that lag into energy, how to turn that into speed so that you can hit it very far and do it, like we mentioned, without hardly any effort at all. And as we're coming through contact, we're going to fully release this angle as we're about 45 past contact. So if I draw, you know, a 45-degree angle, I should be looking at both arms, nice and straight, the club splitting those arms, so that by releasing the club, by getting this angle to release as we're coming through contact, that's what's going to create the speed. Our hands are moving a very short distance, our club is moving a very long distance through contact, and it creates that whip-like effect. Very different swings hitting the exact same position. So first let's take a look at Dustin Johnson releasing the club 45 past. And the reason we're going to see such similar or such different swings producing similar positions is that this is the real physics of how this has to happen. Here we're looking at Sergio Garcia. Again, we're going to see tons of